Hi guys, it's Tim from Launchpresso Digital Marketing, and in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through how to set up a Performance Max campaign for your Shopify store. Now, what is a Performance Max campaign, or otherwise known as PMAX campaigns? The essential lowdown is that the Performance Max campaign is the mother of all campaigns when it comes to the different campaign types that you can set up within Google Ads. It can do search campaigns, it can do display campaigns, it can do shopping campaigns, video, pretty much everything besides app installs that I'm aware of within your Google Ads. Now, the benefits of setting up a performance campaigns is it uses its machine learning automations and optimizes ads across all of Google's channels and network. PMAX can also get you a broader reach across multiple platforms than what you would usually get from a single campaign. They use signals and real-time data to adjust bids and targeting for better performance. And with less manual work with these type of campaigns, it saves you a lot of time. And when you do have enough data, the insights that are provided from PMAX campaigns can help you understand which are the top performing audiences and also the creatives. On the flip side, however, you've got limited control as to how your ads are shown, which can ultimately affect your campaign's precision. It has issues with transparency because you're limited in the visibility as to what channel is performing the best. It's hard to do A/B split testing at the creative level due to the broad scope of the campaign, and due to its learning phase, it can take time for the machine learning to gather enough data to be able to optimize to get you the best sales for the best return on ad spend, which may lead to initial higher costs. And although the Performance Max campaigns have their pros and cons, they can be highly effective if you have enough data and sales in your account. And if you need help getting your Google Ads account set up, or if you want to see how you can improve your ROI and scale your Google Ads accounts, I do have limited spots available if you'd like to hop on a call with me to be able to discuss strategy. So please check out the link in the description or in the first comment below. Go to that page, fill out the contact form, and see if you qualify for a call today. And with that said, let me take you over to my screen now. Okay, and here we are in my test Google Ads account for my test Shopify store, cheapcampinggear.net. And this is where we're setting up our example PMAX campaign. So in order to get started with creating a PMAX campaign, come to the plus button on the left-hand side here in your Google Ads account where it says create, click that, and then click campaign. Yours might look a little different to mine with a blue plus button if you haven't updated to this new version, but it pretty much does the same thing. And as we're focusing on the Shopify store, the objective of our campaign is to drive more sales. So we'll click that and then scroll down. Unless your conversion goals are different from a purchase, which I doubt it would be if you're running an e-commerce store of any description, naturally it's going to default to that account conversion goal. And as purchases have been picked, we'll just click the continue button, scroll down to select campaign type. We can select the Performance Max campaign, but before we do, let's have a quick look at see how it works. By clicking that, a pop-up explains how it can work for you, meets your goals faster, and how it does it finds conversions when and where they happen with the help of automation, can find potential customers, including new ones across Google's network, reach the right audience, and also show high quality ads across each network. Okay, now that we've got that out the road, let's click Performance Max. And now we come to the add products to this campaign. Now, if you're advertising products from your Google Merchant Center, you do want that box to be checked. The only reason you would uncheck that box is if you were not using your data feed for whatever reason. You might be setting up the Performance Max campaign just to run search, display, and YouTube and whatever other assets you want to put in there, but it will not include Google shopping campaigns. Now, if there's a specific feed that you need to pick, this is important. You may have different regions depending on the availability of some products, or it's a particular currency that you have a data feed set in. You can go ahead and click inside the box, pick the feed label. Usually we label them based on location, and you can also use all feeds. You might be doing a worldwide campaign and you want to just include all of them. You can knock yourself out that way. Next, campaign name. Make sure you use proper naming conventions so you can understand the type of campaign and its targeting. Naturally, I always include if it's a Performance Max, the location, maybe the audience, if there's any other demographics or specifics I need to add in there so I can understand what it is by a quick glance. Next, click continue. And now we come to bidding within the PMAX campaign. And firstly, it asks, what do you want to focus on? It gives you two types of automated bidding strategies to choose from. You got conversions, which usually focuses on a target cost per action. So it's more towards the lead gen side of things if you're wanting to do a cost per lead. Or you can select a conversion value where it focuses on a target return of ad spend, which for e-commerce stores is what I would recommend. Unless you have some other reason if you want to be targeting conversions, you might be doing a max conversion strategy without checking this box to do a target cost per action. Reasons for using that is that you might be getting just a campaign going, or if we're going to be selecting conversion value, more often than not, I would be setting a target return on ad spend, or ROAS for short, as you can see here. And if you know more how ROAS works, you can check out that pop-up. And depending on the return on ad spend you're looking for, this is where you set a percentage. If you're looking for a return that's 3 times the amount of your ad spend, you would add in 300 and so on. If you're looking at 1,000%, you would add in 1,000 or 10 times. Just remember, the higher you increase the target return on ad spend, it's going to suppress how often it's going to show your ads to many audiences, depending on the signals and the data receiving on the audience that you're trying to target. This could also affect your daily ad spend, which I'll explain more in a moment, so stick around for that. But just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to set that at 2%. I'm happy for every $1 that comes in, that $2 comes out. Whether I'm profitable or not is questionable. That's what I'll set it as for this example today. Coming to customer acquisition. Now, this is a really interesting feature of Performance Max campaigns, is that you can optimize to acquire new customers should you wish. You can check that box and you have 2 options here. You can bid higher for new customers than for existing customers, which they do recommend. And the reason why you might be doing that is because you may have a higher lifetime value or repeat rate on customers coming back and buying more products from you. So you don't mind bidding harder on that particular demographic and audience who haven't bought from you yet. Or you may only want to bid on new customers only. And some strategies you may want to focus on is that you can split your Performance Max campaigns out. So you just focus on new customers and another one for existing customers, but you have to set up your audiences correctly in order to exclude those particular audiences. And in order to use either the bid higher for new customers or bid only on new customers, you have to define an existing customer list. So if you were to select this, you need an audience size of at least 1,000. None of them are eligible at the moment because I haven't been running ads very often in this account. And generally, it'd be best to have an exhaustive customer email list, which you can upload into Google Ads. And once you've defined your audience and what you've picked, you can also have an additional conversion value for new customers, which you can learn here more on why you want to set a specific value for gaining new customers in your initial customer acquisition strategy. For today, we will not be applying that. I will be unchecking that. This essentially now will evenly distribute ads across new and existing customers. So we'll click next. Okay, now up to campaign settings and locations. So I will select the United States as this is the primary region my test store is targeting. We'll leave the languages English, but you can also check that off as well. So you can target all languages. Remember, locations like the US, they have multiple languages based in that country. So native speakers of Spanish may set their Chrome browsers to Spanish. So you don't want to miss out on those audiences, even though they're writing in English for browsers set in Spanish. Just a little quick tip there. And as we keep moving through, we're automatically creating assets. Now, this is debatable if you really want to use these settings or not. Essentially, by using the content on your landing page domain and ads, Google can generate assets automatically based on these to create text assets, which is essentially short headlines, long headlines, descriptions, etc. And you do need to have that box checked in order to be able to use your final URL destination. And if you do choose to check both boxes, you have the option to exclude certain URLs here. So there's certain pages you don't want to use, like maybe your home page or whatnot. You can state that in here. Just make sure you list them down in one URL per line for which pages you wish to exclude, or you can set up a bunch of rules. So for example, you might want to write blog and category. If that's what you want to do, you can keep adding more and more as you wish, and you can also remove them like so. And once you're happy with that, you can click add. And I'll just click apply for this example. Now it's important not to skip over the more settings area here. Now we've got 4 additional options of ad schedule, start and end date, campaign URL options, and brand exclusions. Now, if you want to only run your ads certain times a day, you can set up a schedule here for that. You can run all days, keep adding here, clicking more settings again. If you want to have a start and end date, you can select that. Campaign URL options. If you're doing tracking, you can add that in, and clicking this again for what's an important but yet frequently overlooked part of the Performance Max campaigns is brand exclusions. Now, you can set up a brand exclusion list in your account settings in Google Ads, or you can simply set one up here as well. And the reason why you want to set up brand exclusions is because you may not want to be bidding against your own brand in a Performance Max campaigns, because generally speaking, you would have a branded campaign in search on its own. Having brand searches in your own Performance Max campaigns and you're receiving conversion on them can muddy the waters as to the results that you're receiving from your actual products. Because if users and shoppers are already aware of your campaign, why would you want to be bidding on them in your Performance Max campaigns? It should be separated and isolated in a different campaign like search in order to keep those purchases and results contained. Now, it's always a debate if you want to set up brand campaigns within a Google Ads account. Why would you spend money in your own brand? Well, there's a couple of reasons. But if you're watching how to set up a brand campaign for Shopify, go take a look there. But for now, you can type in the name of the brand list here and it should come up as an option if it's there. I haven't set one up yet. but I can go here and set one up if I like. You can call it brand list, and the list of brands that I may not want to include be REI, for example. And here we go. We can see who's coming up for that one. So you can click REI, Anaconda Stores. I know they're not based in the US, but I'm just going to put it in there, for example. And we can save that list like so. Now, my brand is Cheap Camping Gear, which is actually a term used for people who are looking generically across the board for cheap camping gear. Right at this moment, I wouldn't want to exclude that branded term because it is also a generic term. Should my brand build over time, then I may want to include it as a brand list exclusion and keep everything separate. Okay, and once you're happy with this part of the campaign settings, we move on to the asset groups. Initially with the asset groups, we only have the option to set up one asset group at the moment. You can add more asset groups later if you're wanting to theme asset groups around different categories within your Shopify store. And for my initial asset group, I'm going to be focusing on tents or camping tents. So I'll call this one camping tents. And before I move on, you can also have what they call a catch-all asset group. If you're not setting up a themed asset groups within the Performance Max campaign, and do remember, you only get 50 asset groups per Performance Max campaign. Once you've set up all your category themes up, for example, then you may have a lot of products that don't really fit into an overall category or theme. So you want to catch all of them on the peripherals. So you set up a asset group for those products that don't really fit anywhere later on. And you usually set that within your listing groups. For example, here, I've got all products set up. That's how you can set it up within a catch-all campaign, or you can segment it all out as I was just mentioning. If you are segmenting into certain themes, you do need to go and set that up wherever you're managing your product feed for your Shopify store. Just to give you a quick example, I'll take you over to the back of my Shopify store right now. I'm just using the Google and YouTube app because it'll give you a very quick demo on what I've done to segment out tents. So you can come to bulk edit products and you can go through and you can set up a product category here under Google if you wish. So I've done tents and set up dome tents here. But also if you come across and you select columns and come down to where it says custom columns and scroll down to what comes to custom labels, you can select a custom label like so. And we can see under custom labels, I already written tents here. So you can also state back in my Google Ads account here, what listing group that I would want to choose. So if I want to select that, there's probably two ways I can do that. So let's just double check that now. I'm going to click the radial button here on use a selection of products. And we do have category. We can go product type like I was mentioning. Now it doesn't show up here at the moment. Probably hasn't updated in the Google Merchant Center via my feed. So I can probably come to custom label, come here like this, see tents. We can see I've got 3 in there because there's 3 variations. So I'll select those tents, click save. And can we see here, tents have been selected as the listing group. Okay, final URL. You can be very specific here and put in a category page should you wish, or the listing page for these tents, which would be better practice, purely on the fact that these are going to have search campaigns as well. So if people are searching for tents, you want to send them to the tents page. So I'm going to right click, copy the address, come back to my final URL and paste that in. And as I pasted that in, the asset generation section, this is relatively new within the Google Ads Performance Max campaigns. As you can see, it's under beta. So this is where Google has taken Gemini or AI and coupled it within Google Ads accounts now. So you can leverage on this if you wish. And as it's mentioned here, it says, let Google AI help you generate assets. We can mention what the product or service is about that we're advertising towards. You can get very specific here and state what makes your products and services unique. Should you wish, you got up to 300 characters. You can describe your products or services in. So it can be treated like a prompt. We sell the best dome tents at cheap and competitive rates. And interesting enough that it's already picked up external pages to enhance and suggest images. Not only has it picked up the actual listing, it's picked up the Facebook group and the Instagram account. Now again, you can either skip this or you can click generate assets, which I will just for fun. And scrolling down, it's filled in completely the whole 15 headlines. Now some of these are a bit debatable as to whether or not I'll use them or not. So this is where you need a good copywriter to be able to come in and write good copy for headlines, long headlines, as well as descriptions. In Performance Max campaigns, you do have up to 30 characters for standard headlines, 90 characters for long headlines, and also 60 characters for descriptions, which is a little bit opposite to the descriptions within search campaigns. They are 90 characters for the descriptions in search. You can also click across the top here to see what your ads would look like when placed across Google's network. You can see YouTube here. You have to scroll down pretty far to see what it looks like on a mobile. So that's what the shopping ads would look like on YouTube. Got Gmail ads as well. Search, display, and discover. And if you're not happy with any of these headlines, you can generate more headlines if you want. It looks like with this button here, we can click that. And again, you can go through and it's a very similar process to what I just did before. It's just through this slide out. It's also got suggested, your asset libraries here as well. You generate your headlines here under the generated tab here using the AI. And again, long headlines, you can do it again here under generate long headlines and under descriptions as well. So that covers your search side with your PMAX campaigns and partially your discover and display campaigns. To complete those, you do need to set up images, and you can go and manually add images like so. You've got suggested asset library you can generate using AI as well, which we'll touch on in a moment. You can use your social media, you can upload, and you can use free stock images as well. So I'm going to do a combination of a few of these. So I'm going to select this one here and it automatically crops it. You can always go in and just double check to make sure it looks good with each one and just select here for one by one. You want to try fit both people in. You want to try fit that accordingly. And you can also crop that like so. And the 4x5 as well. We'll just try to get that, make it looking a little bit better. We'll select that. This is a cool image too. I'll just select this one. Yeah, all those crops look good. Let's select generated. Here it says generated images based on the products and services from 5 minutes ago. This is what it's automatically generated, which looks pretty good. Don't know if I'll go this one for the complete dome style. I want it to look like a real tent. So I would select this one and maybe this one. Let's take a look. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look great with some of these croppings. So I'm just going to select that real quick. Yeah, that looks nice. Move that one to about the middle and then this one here into the middle as well. Okay, select those. So I'm going to run with those assets for now. On web and social, we don't have really much besides an actual product. Free stock images. I think this one here looks cool. Let's select this one as well. Let's quickly edit again. Okay, and so quickly just move those ratios around and we'll save those and we'll keep moving on. Okay, logo, you can add in your logo. Naturally, you should do that. Just make sure you crop those correctly as well. If necessary, save those. And we can see here they've been added. Now, business name, cheap camping gear. Now, videos. I don't have any videos to add. However, you can click add videos here and you've got an asset library, which you can directly create a video should you wish, which is interesting. To maintain brevity, I'm not going to walk through creating a video for Performance Max campaigns. If I ever do create a video for that, you can check it out up here. And you can also search via YouTube. So if you have a YouTube URL, or you can search by keywords, so camping, tents. It seems like it is possible to use other people's videos across YouTube in your campaigns. And if you've been creating videos on YouTube for your store, you'll likely be able to pull in assets from that channel as well. Now, although I've selected this video, by hitting the save button and adding in this video, I confirm that I do own the legal rights of this video and have permission to share the video across Google. So be very, very careful here if you're going to be using someone else's videos for commercial purposes. It's not a good idea to be using them because you can get stung legally for it. So hence the reason why it's best to use your own videos on your YouTube channel or social media channels in your PMAX campaigns. So for today, I will not be using it and I will exit out. Okay, moving down to site links. I do have 4 account level site links that I've created before. You can check out how I've set up site links just up above here. Coming to call to action. Although they say use automated as a recommendation, I primarily want people to shop on my site. I'll select the shop now call to action. Under more asset types, we've got more assets like promotions. So you might have a discount that you might be wanting to run or a coupon code. You can add them in there. You might have some prices, extensions that for tents, for example, you can say from $100 or whatnot. You can click on that and work through that accordingly. Circling back to promotions real quick, you can see I've used one before here, which I can select. That was from Easter. If you have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, which is coming up very soon, you can select that here under new promotions and go about adding in the details of that particular promotion. Always remembering there's a start and finish dates that you can always select. Calls, if you're wanting to receive calls, as I'm wanting people to buy, I do not want to be receiving calls, so I will not add a phone number. Call out extensions have already been added at the account level, and you can just hover over here and you can see what I've already stated here before. The video is up here if you want to check that out. Structured snippets as well, another asset created. Videos for more on that just up here. I'm not doing any lead generation, so that's another asset to include should you wish, but I wouldn't recommend it for Shopify stores. And then here, this is interesting where you can add in HTML5 creatives. So they're usually the animated banners that you see on websites. For the display path, this is not the actual URL that people are going to be sent to. It's just a display URL, how you want to be represented. So I can say like camping or like dome and then tents. You could state that. You can actually make that a little bit more salesy if you like. If you do have a different URL on mobile than you do for desktop, you may want to check that box and add that in. Not necessarily in our situation. Moving on to signals. Now, adding signals within your Performance Max campaigns is an important component because it's going to give more valuable information and tells Google more about the people that you're wanting to reach. So don't skip over this part when setting up your Performance Max campaigns. So for now, I'm going to be writing in camping, tents, outdoors. Could even write cheap camping gear. And for brevity, I'll keep it at this 4, but I would recommend going up to the full 25 if possible. And for some additional audience signals here, you can use your first party data. So if you do have that customer list that I was mentioning before, you can add that in. You can add in new segments from your YouTube users as well as your Google Analytics 4. And as I mentioned before, if you've created other segments with a customer list, website visitors, etc., you can add these in under the Audience Manager. Under additional signals here, we can actually select interest in or detailed demographics or the actual demographics that we want to target. So for example, that you might have a all-female product for whatever reason. In the main, you want to be just sending traffic to those demographics. But for us, we're doing it across all. So under additional demographics here, we don't need to worry about that one at the moment. For us, additional signals, under interest and detailed demographics, we'll click inside that box and we can click camping and hiking, tents and accessories, camping gear, tents. And that's what I'll just check for now because that makes sense for the additional signals that I'm looking at in market audiences for my PMAX campaign for tents. And you can also give your audience a name should you wish. I'm going to call this one tents just in case. And then click next. Now we're up to budget. So how much do you want to spend each day on your PMAX campaign? Now they give a few recommendations. However, I tend to find these quite lofty. I usually like to set a custom budget. So another thing to note, based on what you've stated before, as I mentioned with the bidding strategy and how much return you were wanting to get on your ad spend, on your daily budget, coupled with that will determine how your ads are going to be shown across the Google networks. So if I change this to $100, we'll see here on the right-hand side, as well as here, how much my weekly conversion value may be, as well as the overall return on ad spend or conversion value over cost, as well as the weekly cost. Now, take a note of this. If I push this down to $10, you'll see here that although the conversion value drops, allegedly, the conversion value over cost or return on ad spend will increase dramatically. Reason being is because my hypothesis on this is that the less ad spend you have, the less it's going to show ads to prospects as opposed to people who are in market or at the bottom of the funnel. So it'll be less top of funnel where ads are going to be shown, mostly going to be shown at people who are in the buying zone. So you are restricting how often and where your ads are going to be shown, depending on your budget. If you open up the taps too much, what happens is you'll get diminishing returns on your ad spend, which could also be detrimental on your performance for you across your account. So just be mindful of that when you're running your Google ads as well, and particularly your Performance Max campaigns. The key part is to find the balance, to be able to prospect and find new customers, as well as getting a return on your ad spend as well. And there's many other factors that they're gonna hinder that: your product, your offer, your website, how it converts, price, amongst many of the other subtle factors that are going to affect whether you get conversions and returns on your ad spend. So for now, I'm just going to leave that at $10 a day. Let's select and then click next. And as we're about to wrap up, here we are on the summary screen saying that our campaign is ready to publish. Here you'll find that if there's any errors in your account, it will be highlighted and you just need to click on one of these sections here and to circle back and either complete that or correct whatever issues that you do have. Before you go through and click publish, just double check everything through the overview, bidding, campaign settings, asset group. And if you're happy with everything, click publish campaign. And we are away. As you can see here under the diagnostic insights and the overview screen, that our campaign is currently under policy review. Could take 1 or 2 days. Sometimes it can be sooner. And then it'll go through the process of the ramp up period where you will start seeing impressions coming in and then hopefully conversions. And before I do wrap up, come over to the area here where it says campaigns and where it says asset groups here. You can click on this, but double check that you're still in the same campaign before we do so. So we'll click asset groups and we can see inside here, here's the asset group that we did set up for camping tents. This is where you can go through and add more asset groups by either adding a new asset group in or copying asset groups over from existing Performance Max campaigns. From there, you would follow the same process that I've just taken you through on this video. And with that said, if you found value in this video today, please hit like and subscribe just down below there. And please don't forget my offer to see if you qualify for a strategy call. Reach out in the link in the description or in the pinned comment below. And with that said, thanks for watching this video today. Bye for now.